Hi guys, with F1 brewing up and cheering for a race in Africa, I made a video last year and I decided not to post because I felt like it was really stamping on the importance of race in Africa and also pushing on the stakeholders for their irresponsibilities in making sure we have a race in Africa. And there are ways in which the stakeholders in Africa have made their irresponsibilities so loud that it is really affecting the positioning of Africa in hosting F1 races. And it has been proven that we as Africans are the problems of ourselves. How are we the problems of ourselves? In 2017, the FIA F1 committee came to Nigeria, had a meeting on how to host a race, and in the end, somebody pushed for that license to be cancelled and it was rendered useless. Because he was not happy, he truncated the opportunity in which not just a nation, but a continent would have benefited from. Because somebody believed that the whole structure, the whole process did not go through him. He's not happy with the person that bought the license and is trying to bring this to Africa. The person did what to make sure they cancelled that license, and at the end of the day, we are still worried. And I've talked about the importance of F1 in Africa, what it brings. The last race held in Africa was held in 1993, and that was in South Africa. South Africa has held more races in Africa than any other country in Africa. And which other country in Africa had held a race? That is Morocco. And it was a beautiful race in Morocco. And I think from what I'm looking at, South Africa is pushing for a race now. Rwanda is pushing for a race. If Morocco pushes, I think they'll get it easily. Easily they will get it, and it will be easier for them to host a race. They have a track that is still there, though they've not really been using the track. For South Africans, they've been using their track, and they have, I think, about 3 or 4 tracks in South Africa, but the major track in which they are looking at is the Kailami track, which has been upgraded back to F1 standard. Up until 2018, there was meant to be a race in which FIA is planning to get back to South Africa to race, but politics. And what is the politics? The organizers and the owners of the track never agreed on how they will do the splitting. To that reason, they've not been able to agree on how to host a race. But I think now South Africa is really pushing, and the push is really on. They're really pushing for a race. But now their neighbors, Rwanda, is pushing for a race. Now, let me talk about South Africa and Rwanda here. There is a political underlining now, presently, with the Congo DRC issue. How Rwanda and South Africa are in Congo helping or not helping or this. And this is an advantage for other African countries to really take up the initiative and see how they can come in and use this opportunity to quickly put themselves on a good pedestal and host a race. Because if this lingers on, it will affect the relationship of these 2 countries, and there might be political words spoken and that might truncate or really not help the other country to really get the license or the ticket in which they need to host a race. South Africa is much more closer hosting a race now presently than any other country. But like I said, if Morocco should say yes, we want to host, I believe they will get it fast. So why is South Africa much closer? Rwanda had that meeting with FIA and F1. They're in the process, but Rwanda don't have a track yet. They're just planning, or they will just get on to build a track for the F1 in Rwanda. Meanwhile, South Africa, like I said, already have tracks and they have a standing track. Now, recently they've had meetings with FIA and they're pushing immediately after the 2024 season. And it has been ongoing during the process of 2024 season. And with Lewis Hamilton really pushing for a race in Africa before he retires, they've been doing their best, doing their bit to make sure they meet up in South Africa to make sure there's a race. Either to this, they've done a lot of meetings, they've pushed. South Africa is on the edge. But this Rwanda situation with South Africa, seriously, I think they need to sort it out. If they don't sort it out, big boom. Nigeria comes in now. They said, I saw it on the pages that Nigeria is trying to host a race, bring Formula 1 to Africa. If it is not politically motivated, I believe we can host a race. And I've had some talks with some few people about it, and looking at it, Nigeria can host a race. Building a fully functional track, a good one, will cost us, with license and everything, close to 1.5 to 2 billion in dollars. Yeah, let me break it down for you. A good track with design and all the corners and everything should cost between $300 to $500, and that should include the pits, that is the car service areas, the crew areas, and some few others. Now, by the time you start adding the aesthetics, the buildings, paddocks, entertainment areas, stands, and some other few things, you are running it into billions, because you need to build good quality stands, paddock areas, F1 experience areas in which a lot of people can come in and have time or enjoy themselves. You need to build places in which kids can come enjoy themselves, fun areas, practically places in which a lot of things can go down, So it will run into such huge amounts. Can Nigeria push that? Certainly we can push it. We just need individuals partnering with the government to do that. And when I look at the whole letter this evening, I saw that there are still so many underlying things in which needs to be dealt with. The aims are not there. The objectives are not really well spelled out. It looks like a half-baked mission, and it looks like people people would not really understand why we need a race in Africa. So I think some major key players in the industry need to be spoken to. I think these organizations still need to visit some few races that have been held in Nigeria, like Fanfaro, X-Kart, the BMW events, the biking event. Visit these races and talk to key stakeholders that are doing this to really open their eyes to this, because we're talking about hosting races, we are talking about in-depth engineering, we are talking about economic gains, we are talking about infrastructures itself, we're talking about history, we're talking about tourism, we are talking about education, we're talking about technical know-hows, we're talking about employment, we are talking about groundbreaking ideas that will spin out or sprout out opportunities for a lot of youth, for a lot of Nigerians, in ways in which we'll be able to tap into the inner purpose of the Nigerian people. And why am I saying inner purpose of Nigerian people? A lot of Nigerians are how they're talented, very intelligent people that can create things. Yeah, create things aside from the IT in engineering, and this will bring out the real ingenuity of Nigeria. You see people recreating cars, recreating things to come and race. You see opportunities in which the engineering aspect will grow or build our schools, and we'll be able to build an history for car culture in Nigeria. A whole lot of things will happen, a whole lot of changes, a whole lot of opportunities will sprout out. And you know what this will do to our tourism industry? It is a kaboom. It's going to be a massive blowout. There's no state in Nigeria in which you don't have tourist attractions, things that would fascinate people, that would draw people's attention to Nigeria, things that people would be ready to pay for. And this will also cancel the culture of people believing Nigeria is just like a desert, or Nigeria is just like a jungle. People will come and see the beautiful culture, the rich heritage in which is embedded in each culture in Nigeria. And I can tell you that this will open Nigeria to the world. Nigeria is already open, but this will really break it totally open, in which people will see, a whole lot of people would see who Nigerians are, not the way Nigerians are portrayed abroad as scammers, as, you know, different names, but to see Nigerians as beautiful people, wonderful people, loving people, intelligent people, creative people, groundbreaking opportunities for so many investors to come in and also build projects in Nigeria. So I still think a lot of things need to be done in that aspect to help and to show the real purpose, the real aim of what this opportunity will bring to Nigerians. Now, a lot of key stakeholders are not being carried along. Lots of people that are behind the scene, pushing, doing their best to make sure motorsport is a thing in Nigeria. A lot of people are doing that, I can tell you, behind the scene. And this will be an opportunity for them to be spoken to be contacted, to be carried along, and for them to be able to put their own quota, both Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians in Nigeria, and what they can do. And a lot of people in Nigeria attend F1 events. These people also need to be carried along. A lot of meetings need to be done. If this needs to be done, this is our opportunity as Nigerians, and when this project starts, it has to be finished in a year. Now, why am I saying it has to be finished in a year? We've seen a lot of projects being abandoned, a lot of projects being left for a long time and not being attended to. We see a lot of projects that have been abandoned. But this is a project that needs to be really financed and really sorted out in a year. Look at the way Jeddah Koniche track was built. It was built in less than 8 months, and other things were added to it. Look at the way the Las Vegas Strip was done. It was done in less than a year also, you understand? So it can be done. We just need the key stakeholders, the parastatals that will join us together with the government to do this. And when this is done, I'm telling you, it's an opportunity for every young kids and the unborn generation to benefit from this groundbreaking opportunity, because a whole lot of things that I can tell you that you are not seeing now, it will be like magic. There's some things I will not be breaking down here because I've said some in the past. While now I won't say it, because it is when we start seeing these things that we start reaping the fruit, and we start seeing how these opportunities would enrich the educational curriculum in Nigeria and also turn around the opportunities for every young Nigerian in engineering. But I think the organizers for Nigeria, like I read, it is Circuits of Africa, like that, should really have a good, solid, concrete plan that when it is set in pace, kaboom, there is no stop. Yeah, Lagos is the idea. Like I've said since I started my own podcast, Lagos is the idea. Lagos is the place that it can be hosted. A lot of people have said, no, Lagos is crowded, it does not have land. See, I can tell you places in which it can be held in Lagos. I can give you 3 places in which it can be held in Lagos. A lot of people have looked at it, but yeah, it's a good place, massive opportunity, massive land mass, great place for that to be done. You know the funny thing with the Ekpe area area. We can have an ICT campus built around there. We can have an engineering hub, because this opened the market of tires, car manufacturing and assembly, a whole lot of electrical and electronics automation engineering. So these are hubs that will be built around that place, and a lot of Nigerians will be engaged. And we're also talking about the free trade zone, which is around that place. So now we have an airport coming there and a seaport already there. So it is an easy access for DHL to bring the Formula 1 gadgets and equipment to the racetrack, which makes it easier. They can land their plane there, and any of the stars can just come there and breeze out easily. That's Lekki Ajef Ekpe area. Now, let me talk about the airport. There's a lot of huge land mass around that place. The Air Force landing pad is around there. There's a huge runway that is not being used for years. Yeah, it can be used for testing operations, and it can be rebuilt and reconstructed for F1 races, and the Air Force can still do their thing there, certainly. Formula E can run there. It can be expanded. That land is mass. Behind it, they have a large land mass. So that land should not be wasted. It's only a few times that the Air Force uses that place. Whenever they want to use it, it should still be used, but it's a big opportunity for that place. There are so many places, but I'll just break it out into three. The third place I believe that can be used is the Eco Atlantic. Now, recently, Davido bought a land there at the Eco Atlantic. There are so many buildings there. There are so many guys there that go there to shoot videos, race, do some sort of things. Now, think about it. Having a street race in Eco Atlantic, it will change it. Eco hotels, a lot of liaisons around that place. Now, you're having a street race, so there are already road map network. You build it around there, tunnels around that place. The whole place littered. That will also bring people back to Eco Atlantic to come and be buying land and be buying houses. You can build an ICT hub inside Eco Atlantic, some engineering hubs. It becomes its own city. Now, around that place, remember, there's an ocean behind the Eco Atlantic. That was the ocean filled to make Eco Atlantic. Imagine there could be a small dock down there for DHL to bring, or for anybody to bring their Formula 1 gadgets being used, take back. These places that I've said can take out traffic, so there will be no traffic. Just ease. And the Eco Atlantic has some beautiful condos, new hotels being built there. Easily, the teams get their hotels around the Ikeja, the airport. Hotels are around there. Lekki, Ekpe, Axis, a lot of hotels. So these places, the transport, the road network, the logistics is already sorted out. Telling you, the logistics is already sorted out by itself. So what else do we need? There are other places, but those three places are key areas in which I believe races can be held. Logistics is sorted out. The internet that was claimed in 2017 or 2018 that we don't have enough is already sorted out. You can build a base station around any of these places. That's why I said an ICT hub can be built around there. A base station providing a full latency of internet to be used for a week at so giga or tetrabyte or whatever to be used, and it can be reduced after that time. This is sorted out. So I think Nigeria is in the forefront. A lot of things need to be discussed. A lot of people need to be talked to. A lot of companies like the MTNs, the Glo, the Etisalat, possibly, I don't know if Etisalat is still working, the Airtel, Bati Airtel, having meetings. This creates opportunity for economic development, and this certainly would bring down the exchange rate. And also, I think this is an opportunity for government to look at how to bring down import rates, because this brings a whole lot of companies looking at Nigeria as a market. Look at this instance. Imagine Mercedes and their CEO, Ola Kalenius, if he's still there, coming into Nigeria and seeing a lot of Mercedes cars and is asking questions. Do we have an assembly here? They're like, no, but we have a dealership. And he's like, dealership for what? Do you need a dealership when I've seen over 100 Mercedes in just less than 10 minutes? We don't need a dealership. We need a real assembly. Imagine Toyota now bonded with us, coming to Nigeria and seeing a lot of Toyotas, and they're like, what do we have here? And they're saying, we have Elizade, we have Germain, we have this. And they're like, no, we don't have an assembly here. What are you guys saying? This is huge. This is opportunity, So I can tell you a lot of things will happen. A lot of opportunities will come up, and you don't want to miss it. So I believe a lot of stakeholders need to be spoken to. Nigeria is on the forefront with the opportunity now, but the closest country, like I said, South Africa, and I hope South Africa and Rwanda can end their squabbles with a good truce, but Nigeria still has the opportunity. But I think it should be more than the politics. The people trying to host it, organize it, should not see the political opportunity to use this to bring down or destroy the opportunity that is embedded in the future of of motorsport in Nigeria. So I believe something can be done. Not just something, a huge opportunity is there. What are we going to do to claim this opportunity, hold it firm, and grow the sport in Nigeria? It is left to us as Africans to leave our differences and our grievances amongst ourselves and not destroy opportunities that will change the economic structure or the growth structure of our nation and our continent, like somebody did in 2017 to 2018. We need to look beyond greed. We need to look beyond sabotage. We need to look beyond selfish interest. We need to look into how do we change the future. The future is in our hands as Africans. Let us work together as Africans to make sure we can get a race into Africa latest 2027. 2026 is possible, but latest 2027. We can do it. I believe as Africans we can do it. We have the opportunity. We have everything. Everything in the Formula 1 car. 99% of it is taken from Africa. Formula 1, we need you back. We need you in Africa. We need our people to see the beauty of what their minerals and their natural resources has made. We need to experience and embrace the motorsport culture as the whole world has embraced. In the past 20 years, there has not been a race in Africa. Europe has enjoyed races. America has enjoyed races. Now, the Middle East are having 4 races in this season. Since the inception of the new FIA president, there has been 4 races in the Middle East, which I think the GCC are having 5 nations. 4 out of the 5 nations are already hosting races. And Africa is there. We need to be on the map. FIA need to look into this and get Africa back into this ASAP. Yes, we need to get back. Keep following, share, comment. Let me know what you think. And also watch some of our videos that we've done in the past. We analyze races and we'll talk about Formula 1. I love you guys. Like, share. See you on the next video. Until the next one. Chee.